What's going on, Taurus? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a fantastic week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Taurus. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy how yourself has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Because it's General Energy Weekly Spread. I've just been enjoying these little jigs there, Taurus. It gives me a chance to just get down with my bad self. Whatever. But with this weekly spread, whenever you happen to come across this video, there may be some messages in here for you. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Taurus. So Taurus, I'm going to pull a few oracle cards from this deck here, and then we will get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? Thank you. And in case of y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below some links for some other readers that are like watching Taurus, so definitely check them out. Very intuitive group. I think you'd really enjoy them. But let's go ahead and get into your first card here. Oh, and look at you, Taurus, getting your workout on, because you got the 6th card of Capricorns, which is the bodybuilder card. And with this card, this is a card of power, strength, forceful, determined, discipline, vigor, domination, push forward, influence, leverage, mastery, resolve, intense, resistance, self-improvement, and exercise. And the energy that's coming through here, Taurus, is the determined. And I feel like for some, this is what, for some, it feels like what the universe is kind of asking you to be. It's just like, or maybe we feel very, it's almost like I feel like there's this calling that we're trying to pursue here. Maybe there's this, whether this be like towards a career, or maybe there's this dream that we're going towards, and there's like the universe is kind of asking for you to kind of call upon this energy of determination to keep that sort of like steadfast energy and to keep that perseverance. Very much kind of like when I think about your energy. Yours is one I feel like once you set your sights on something, you push through. But maybe for some, it's like I'm almost kind of getting this level of resistance that no matter or at least maybe this is what we've been feeling. It's just like no matter how much we may seem to work at something or put our energy into this thing, it's just like we're finding this. It seems to be kind of hard to keep that endurance. Maybe for some of you, it's just like I'm getting very kind of like a 9 of Wands, 10 of Wands type of energy that maybe something is becoming a burden in a sense, and that we're trying to like. It's turned from determination to this almost type of like, kind of like a forceful energy, possibly, is what I'm kind of getting there. But I do feel that if there is this dream or this calling that we're feeling determined to accomplish here, it may not be the fact that you might be meeting this resistance because maybe there's a different way of needing to go about it. Maybe I'm just thinking about, like, let's say, because this doesn't necessarily have to be career. Maybe we're trying to start into like a routine, possibly. Maybe working out is one example. It may be we're the type that has been. Let's say you've been going on like a 3-mile run or something along those lines. I know, look at you, Taurus. And you're just like but no matter how determined you stay, it's just like there's still this sense of misery even, or there's just like that sort of like where it's just like, well, maybe instead of doing the running every day, maybe it's switching up. Maybe you're doing like, instead doing like high interval high intensity interval training, or maybe we're switching to strength training, or calisthenics just popped in my head, or maybe like, you know, even some like maybe more like Pilates, or just kind of switching up, like keeping that workout modality, but again, just kind of switching up how we're doing it to make it work for your body. Maybe it's because we've seen, you know, a bunch of others maybe doing running, or we may have heard that this works for some people, but it may not work for another. Like, I know some people who are big gym fans. I'm not a fan of the gym. I like to have, you know, like once I'm in my kind of flow there, I want to be able to get my stuff done and not have to wait on someone to, to get to a machine or to get to certain equipment and things. But then there are others who don't like, so I work out at home. So, but there are others who don't like doing that. They don't feel like they can push themselves as hard. And it's a mind thing that comes into that, not just a body. And so I feel that, when I think about Capricorn energy, they're all, and just Earth energy in general. You all are very, persevering and very, very accomplished oriented element, or very accomplished oriented element. And I feel like it's just some minor tweaks and things could get you to where we can keep that motivation going there, Taurus. But let me get some tarot on this and get some details. Let's see what's going on here, Taurus. Oh, all right. So you have the Three of Cups, the Three of Swords, the Nine of Cups, and then the Knight of Wands. And I feel like for some, maybe with this, again, with this determination energy, it's just like maybe it's like maybe in what we've been doing, whether this is, maybe starting a workout routine, maybe even trying to change the way that we eat possibly, or maybe in kind of incorporating something, but it still feels like that there is maybe it's a sense of sadness. Maybe this is like a depression, possibly because we're not seeing the results that we want, or maybe things are coming as fast, and it's, I feel that maybe I'm getting with the Three of Cups. It's almost like kind of what we're maybe telling ourselves, in a sense. Like, when we do find ourselves in that sort of like discouraged type of energy, we can that can switch the narrative in our heads, and we can kind of get to this place. Well, it's like no matter what I seem to do, I seem to get back to this place. And it's when you're staying in that sort of negative loop there, Taurus, it does alter your vibration, and it keeps attracting this. It almost like gives you in this loop, and it just starts to where we're just kind of burning this energy and burning, and then eventually it just like we just end up getting burnt out, in a sense. And I don't feel like, not even just physically, this could be just like emotionally burnt out, spiritually burnt out. And I feel there's a need to, whatever these roadblocks are, or maybe whatever seems to be getting in the way of getting you to the accomplishments that you want, or getting you the results that you want. Maybe this is meeting up with some people, possibly talking about this thing, working this out. Just like, hey, I seem to notice like this tends to happen. Do you have like, just kind of asking for maybe some advice. And and maybe this is something too, maybe we've been so determined and so focused on this thing that we haven't made some time to celebrate the fact that you're even working on this thing in the first place. Sometimes we can focus on the fact that we haven't gotten where we want to be. It takes a lot of initiative, Taurus, to even start to do these types of changes, and then to stay determined to and stay focused in order to get there. And just like reflect day to day, as far as just like, all right, where I may have fallen short. Like, it's like balancing things out. It's like, okay, where I may have fallen short here, how am I going to bring it tomorrow? And then and then reflecting too, even in that energy, in what ways did I bring it? Maybe I didn't complete like the 3 miles. Maybe I only got a half a mile, or maybe I got out the door and back. But at least you did something. And then it's just keep pushing, and and getting into that routine a little more and more. And then I feel like that helps to kind of bring about, it's like, look at that, we went from being into the state of sorrow to the state of happiness here with the Nine of Cups. But Let me get a little bit more on that, Taurus. On the Nine of Cups. Hmm. Oh, look at that, Taurus. I like that. So you have the Nine of Cups is clarified by the Eight of Swords and then the Sun card here, Taurus. And I feel like right now, you know, especially if we're starting to notice that our energy is starting to wane and we're starting to lose that determination, that drive. You know, sometimes I do feel like that is, again, it's like we can get in our own head sometimes, and this, like, this card of interference here. You know, I feel like it's like kind of being like a self-imposed prison with the Eight of Swords here, and not really seeing things clearly for what's really happening. That this is an energy to celebrate. That even when we hit a challenge, it's just like, okay, how do we power through that challenge? You know, take a moment and kind of reflect on these things that tend to be frustrating you, and then maybe just like this could be maybe there could be a number of things to do how we can tap into this energy. Maybe we're doing some meditation, maybe we're doing some, maybe find your happy space when you're cooking, or maybe even doing some reading, or maybe do some journaling, something, working in the garden, working out in the earth, and just kind of reflecting on, you know, what is the source of this thing. You know, is it just because I don't like this, or maybe it's just like how we're going about it. Like, play around with this, Taurus. But I do feel like that the answers is in this, you know, when we find ourselves kind of stuck there. But all right, Taurus, let's get some tea. Let's get another oracle on the mix. All right, Taurus. So you got the six card of Virgos here, which is the sap card. And with this card, this is a card of resources, needed materials, flow, wealth, essence of life, spring, blood, nourishment, sweetness, energy, vitality, grounded, roots, abundant, physical health, and life force. And the energy that's coming through here, Taurus, is the essence of life. And I feel like with this, this to me really feels that I feel like it's making sure to pay attention to that you don't get to that. We're not. It's like being mindful of how we are expending our energy, because, like, how do I want to put this? Because I feel like for some, let's say for example, if we're working towards like I'm almost getting, like, let's say like a promotion, maybe you're trying to get to that like managerial phase, or that CEO. It's just like we can, you know, be determined to really do whatever it takes in order to get to something. But maybe then that in that sense, it's like we're sacrificing sleep. You know, maybe we're working overtime, we're not taking time to celebrate here. You maybe get out and get some sunlight. And it's, I feel like it's really kind of tuning into and really listening to your body, and like asking what is, for some, it's like it's, and this is an interesting question, but it feels like that, why are we so determined in to achieve this thing? You know, what is this? Because this could even be like maybe we're determined to, like, you know, maybe end up in like a relationship possibly, or we're determined to again to like to achieve this dream. But let me get some tarot on this and get some details there, Taurus. Because it does, because the sun, you know, even in our chart, represents our vitality, our energy, and it's just like that. There's something here that maybe just, it might be taking away from your forces more than you realize. And let me see what's going on here, Taurus. All right, so you have the the two of wands, the three of discs, the prince of cups, and then the knight of swords. And with the knight of swords here, it does feel like that we've just been kind of moving quite a bit. Like maybe for a second, because you got two very fast knights here, and the knights in this decks are kings, and I feel that there is this energy of this, like we've been kind of pushing for a while, but I'm just wondering, it may be kind of working harder at something or pushing ourselves almost for some like unnecessarily, or just like we're for like not necessarily forcing, but it's like we think that we're meant to do this one thing and we were so determined to accomplish this, which in itself is not normally not, I feel like, an issue, but it just feels like that there's a deeper meaning to why we're maybe doing this, or thinking that it could be maybe that we're trying to distract ourselves possibly, or that we're trying to, there's something bottled up, I feel like, with the prince of cups here. It's like we're not following our hearts in a sense. But let me get a little bit more on this prince of cups here. It's just like we've kind of shut something off here. Yeah, let me get a little bit more on this prince of cups here, Taurus. And the princes are knights in this deck, but let's all right, Taurus. So you have the Prince of Cups is clarified by the Moon card, the Prince of Swords, and then the Five of Swords. And it feels with the Moon here that the Moon card can be like a card of illusions, and that's what's really kind of coming through here. That for some it's like there's this, we're determined to make something happen here, but it feels that it's not. It doesn't feel like it's not real, but it just feels that there's like, for some it feels like it's out of grasp here, and maybe this is something that maybe the ideas of people have been how do I want to put this, have been trying to keep us down, possibly, and maybe we're determined to prove them wrong. But I'm wondering if that's because it's different than if you were like to say, if you were trying to become like the next like owner of, or you know, the next, what's that person's name, like Jeff Bezos or something like that, like some like kind of real big name, and some people are just like, no, you can't, you know, you're not gonna be able to do that, Taurus. It doesn't quite feel like that, where it's like, you know, you're trying to do this thing. It's like we're pouring our energies into this idea of something that others can see how this might be affecting you in the way, but you're not seeing how this may be affecting you, towards how it might be putting you at this sense of detriment here. It's very kind of complex. I'm hoping that this makes sense, but I am getting this energy too with the Prince of Swords that it's something with energy here that it's just like we're. Can you get one more on him? Let me get one more on him, Taurus. Alright, so the Prince of Swords is clarified by the Ten of Cups. And it's like we feel that something is going to fill. It's going to, once we get this certain thing, that we're going to get to this sense of fulfillment or get to this sense of contentment. But I feel like it's when we get, it just feels like that is not something, and I feel like deep down we may know this, Taurus, but there is like, I'm not, like, this may be a pride thing that we keep kind of pushing through despite what maybe others might have warned us about this possibly, or all right, Taurus, I hope that that makes sense, because it's like we're working really hard towards something that I feel deep down, it's like, it's not that you don't want to do, but it's just like the reason that we're doing it, I feel like is draining your energy in a way that it just seems to be kind of slowing down. But I think I'm gonna pull out of that. So yeah, hopefully you've found a little nugget or there, was able to translate that, Taurus. But let me get your get some tea, and then let's get your last card. Thank you. Just one other thing that popped in my head with this, Taurus, this essence of life. It's like another like kind of example, like a phrase that kind of popped in my head, that like it's like money is the essence of life, or that fame is the essence of life, or but it just feels like it feels misplaced. Or let's get your last card here. Interesting. All right, so you have the fifth card of Scorpios, your opposite sign, which is the Thunderstorm card. And with this card, this is a card of power, destruction, trouble, electric display, a warning, out of control, energy shift, conflict, triumph over evil, fierce, booming, conflict, and opportunity to overcome. And the energy that's coming through here, Taurus, is the destruction. And I just feel that with where things are kind of going with this, where this energy is, because this is very, your energies have been kind of in a weird place here, Taurus, over the, or in a, not weird, but in a strange place over the last couple weeks. And not necessarily that I feel like we're doing something destructive, but it feels that there is, I'm getting like tower vibes in a sense. It's just like at the rate we're kind of going here, because you got a lot of fast moving nights, and it feels like that we're kind of, in a sense, maybe for some it's like we're, this energy is spiraling fast, seems to kind of be coming to my head here. There's this, and when I say stubborn, I don't mean in just like the typical sort of like, I feel like there's, like a lot of people might think like Taurus is a stubborn sign, and I feel like that's all fixed signs, especially if you have, Leo, Aries, or not Aries, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and your energy. It's when you have a lot of fixed energy, it can be, it's once you get locked onto something, it can be hard to shape this thing up. And when there's a change that's needed to be called, if it's something that we're not bringing up yourself, there can be this sort of resistance to this thing. And maybe this is something where, again, it feels like maybe others have been trying to keep you, in a sense, not necessarily trying to keep you off your journey. And maybe that's something it's like maybe we're not even sure whom to trust. But again, it feels like that there's this foundation that's crumbling, in a sense. And it's just like we've been so focused on one thing or trying to make something happen here that we don't see the other things kind of falling around. And there's this energy of like either like a hanged man situation is going to happen, because that's my thing with the Knight of Wands. He goes throwing his energy all over the place, just sort of not really being aware of that it can, universe will find ways to kind of slow you down. And again, that's not to get you scared or anything like that, but it is to just get you kind of thinking and just paying attention to our actions and the way that things have been going. But let me get your last tarot cards on this. Alright, Taurus, last little bit here. Interesting. And because I even was getting like, and again, take this as it resonates, but it's like determination will be your downfall in a sense. And like, and again, like and I don't mean to sound like ominous or anything like that, but it's just like the focus or the drive, like, but you got the two of disc, the 10 of disc, the 5 of wands, and then the 7 of swords here, Taurus. And let's switch back over. And I wish that I had more ways to change this, because something does feel like that we need to kind of change things up a little bit, because I feel there is this frustration that might be kind of building up here, Taurus, that maybe we've been feeling challenged in a way, and it's like we're doing stuff. It's like we're cutting our nose to spite our face in a sense, like and it's just like it's kind of, and it is feeling with the 10 of discs, there is this instability that I'm feeling, or this, it's very interesting, Taurus. And I feel that it's like with the 7 of swords being here, and it's a mix, like for some I feel like this is like it's we're getting in our way, and it's getting in the way of like our 10 of cups, our 10 of disc, our sunlight. But it does feel like, but not as heavily, where maybe for some others there is this energy of, maybe others trying excuse me, trying to keep us down possibly, or maybe trying to keep this determination. But I feel like, pay attention to how, it's like pay attention to how you've been flowing here as of late, or what's been your driving force possibly, or all right, Taurus, I think I'm going to leave that there. But I hope that made sense. That was very interesting. But if anything resonated with you, give that a thumbs up, and share this, Taurus, if you notice that it feels like that there's this stubborn energy, or there's this essence of life that's, and just pay attention to where you're putting your energies there, Taurus. And if you notice someone that's been, you're kind of determined to, yeah, it's very, very interesting, Taurus. And if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that bell button, you get notified when I release videos each week. And then last thing, Taurus, so let's brighten this up a little bit. If you got any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, come on over to my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans, even when they're Pisces, and it's a good old time. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card here, so I can get you out of here, Taurus. And you got the Hermit here, Taurus. And I feel like with the Hermit popping up here, I do feel like that there's a need to kind of reflect on where we maybe been, again, because kind of channeling your energy here as of late. You know, there's, and I feel like if we were to sit with this Taurus, I feel like there's something that's trying to reveal itself to you here. Like they're trying to find, almost like trying to find the essence of life in a sense. But for you, you know, what is it? What keeps? What really fuels you is what like I feel is going down, or what's maybe fueling these actions possibly. But let me get your oracle card here so I can get you out of here. Thank you. Interesting, Taurus. So you got the 28th card here, which is the building blocks card. And I am forgetting with this that more so for some, if we are building something, I do feel like that there's this energy because that was it feels like that there's this energy of making sure that we're not burning ourselves out again, you know, that we're not pushing ourselves to, you know, really trying to force this thing along, or essentially, you know, kind of three a disc overworking yourself. But I do get more so with this that again we were talking about the foundation, you know, that something doesn't feel quite as stable, that there is something that we may need to kind of I'm getting like a kind of start over and just kind of reevaluate again and just kind of maybe rebuild, like just check how we've been kind of building things thus far, how things have kind of compounded there, Taurus. It's all right, Taurus, I think I'm gonna leave that there. So yeah, just something to think about. Yeah, because I feel like there's this. But you stay safe out there, Taurus. You know, with this energy, and you know, not just pushing, you know, not pushing yourself to, you know, to where you're again in detriment or something like that, or you know, let the frustration kind of drive you to, again, it's like there's this spiraling energy. But you raise your vibration to the roof. Do some self care. You know, whatever that looks like. Take a break. You know, do some meditation. Maybe make sure we're getting enough sleep. You know, eating foods that keep the body moving. You know, just paying attention to that stuff, Taurus. And I will catch you on the next one later.